Good evening, everybody. This is TeamMBSmedia.com's YouTube channel. And of course, I'm Greg Cowboys 1964, joined by Mr. Bill Carroll, otherwise known as 11 Bravo 138, and Randall Slifer.
How we doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you guys both doing?
We are just less than 3 months. Yes, right?
Yep.
Is that right? Yeah, we're less than 3 months. Yes, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're less than 3 months in the draft. Yes, we are in the home stretch.
We're like 5 or 6 weeks from the draft.
Yes, right. We are officially in the home stretch.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're getting down there. We're getting down there.
Yeah, we're 3 months away from post-June cuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
That's why I decided that we'd do a top 10 list on just one position today. And we're going to do the corners, which is, not as much fun as being a safety, right, Bill?
No. Because to be a safety, you have to, no offense, but you have to see things differently, right? You have to have an approach where you aren't just worried about executing your assignment. And your assignment is to basically keep your defense from giving up, a disaster. It's like being a firefighter. You hope you never have to do certain things, but you're there to take care of them if you have to. And you're expected to be in all kinds of places on the field. If you're a man corner, you go with this one guy wherever he goes. If you're a zone corner, you're responsible for this particular part of the field from here to here. If you are a deep middle safety, it's like being a security guard in a high-rise apartment building. You're looking at all these different screens and having to take action in any part of the building.
And if you look at Malik Hooker last year for the Cowboys, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time because that poor guy was being stuck. He was being stuck with covering guys that he had no business being out the field against. It was just totally ridiculous. And why? The Cowboys finished 28th in the league in defense. Thank you, Matt Eberflus, you clown. But anyhow, but we've seen other corners. Greg Newsome, Northwestern, untouchable in college.
Yep.
He's now on his third team?
Third team.
Yep.
Sauce Gardner, untouchable in college. He's on his second team.
Though he's had some good seasons.
Yeah.
And somebody traded him for 2 first-rounders. That's a pretty good accolade.
Oh, yeah, but again, he was not. Yeah. He was not Mr. Invincible any longer with the Jets. He was not.
Yeah, he was handsy in college.
Yeah.
And he was handsy in the NFL, and the NFL calls him.
Yep.
Whereas Newsome surprises me being on his third team already because he was so good at Northwestern. He was so good. No quarterbacks would not even go anywhere near the guy.
Right.
So, but again,
some of that scheme, some of that surrounding talent.
Yeah.
But I think he needs to, sort of strip it down and almost like reboot, like figure out, go back, watch old tape of himself, right, and say, oh, what was I doing so much better than I'm doing it now? Some guys have to rework their footwork. Some guys have to get in better shape.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's literally this flexibility and balance. Like we always focus on speed because you do need to have a certain level of speed to play corner. But when I see a guy who struggles with things like balance and coordination and change of direction, that's when I jump off a guy. Like he can have everything else, but if he struggles with body control, if he struggles with balance, if he's not super coordinated, even if he has everything else, I'm not going to be a buyer.
Yeah, exactly right. So here is my top 10 list of the corners. Number 10, I have Traden Stooks, Arizona. Now, this guy is not going to be a press man corner. He is going to be a zone corner. but boy, is he ever electric when he's playing zone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I put Stooks in there. D'Angelo Pons, the Indiana corner, again, a smaller size guy.
Right.
Until this year, the Cowboys would never consider D'Angelo Pons, but we got a new defensive coordinator who is not going size wise with his moves thus far. Then I have a guy from the Miami Hurricane. I don't know whether he really is a corner or if he's more of a safety. Because really, who did you see the guy actually cover? Keontae Scott was just everywhere though for the Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely everywhere. Dalen Everett, the Georgia Bulldog, another guy that I do like. Then, of course, we got South Carolina Cisse, who apparently in his trainers and everybody else, they say he's a soft guy. Oh, well,
Off how?
his play wasn't so soft, but okay.
Yeah.
You know. Then I put Keith Abney in as my number 5, the Arizona State. San Diego State's Chris Johnson. If people have not watched San Diego State this year,
Mm-hmm.
it's dynamite. Then, of course, we've got the top 3 guys. Jamard McCoy, March 31st, kids. Oh, we actually get to see what McCoy can do on the field. Then I put Mansour Delane, who apparently is most people's number 1 guy. Yes, he did play very well at LSU, but his testing numbers, of course, are not quite up there in terms of speed and all this other BS. But if he plays the same way that he did in college at the NFL level, he will be just fine.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And my number 1 guy is Evian Terrell, Clemson, another smaller sized cornerback. Again, you don't need to have these 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" guys like Nashawn Wright, who was with the Bears last year.
Ephesians Prysock this year.
Yeah.
Right, and his partner is like 6'2" and 3/4.
Sicario. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just aliens in the on the boundary.
Yeah, exactly, right? But again, that's my top 10. Mr. Randall Slifer, go ahead.
All right, I'm up. All right, I have Dalen Everett as my number 10. I think we may all have Dalen Everett in there. 2 years of good tape overall. 20 improved from 2024 to 2025. I'll always remember in 2024 when he got manhandled by Calvin Banks in the run defense and just got thrown that one time. But his name got out, and then I started watching him in 2024. But he had a 55% reception rate in 2025, did really well. My only concern for him is taking some bad angles and giving up explosive plays. That's why I kind of left him at the 10 spot. My number 9, which I think is different, is Julian Neal. I think he's flying under the radar, to be honest with you. I've heard that he has some attitude issues, and that's where I throw it away, and I can't stand when people say that. But in the 108th defense playing in the SEC, he was the only shining light on that Arkansas defense. But he's very well-rounded. Still ran a 4.49, which is fine. He can play outside and inside. So if you draft him, you can figure out where he needs to go. Good tackler. Kind of reminds me of Christian Benford. Uses the trail technique and has a high IQ. Big fan of him. D'Angelo Pons, number 8, as we talked about, small guy. Obviously probably needs to go inside. I'm glad he was at like 183 at the combine. I thought he was a little thinner. But, that low 180s is good enough. Would be surprised if he plays outside in the NFL. It's been done before, but I think he goes inside. Colton Hood as my number 7. Really like Colton Hood. He had a good 40 at 4.44, and it shows up on tape. Little high hips, but very instinctual. Great zone defender. My only concern with him is he's not the exact wow profile, and he's really good at attacking the quarterback, but his run defense could get a little bit better, in my opinion. Brandon Cisse, love Brandon Cisse. I was high on him in the summer. He came through in South Carolina from NC State. He's another guy that can go outside and inside as well. Incredible at the line of scrimmage, good in defending the run, and has good short agility to be able to go inside or outside. I have Avian Terrell as my number 5 guy, as we talked about. He had under a 60% reception rate. He had 5 forced fumbles, which is absolutely incredible, with 3 sacks as well. Really solid, maybe the top zone coverage guy, at least top 3 zone coverage guy, and can play man as well. Big fan of him. Obviously, Greg, you gave the starking remark for Chris Johnson. I love Chris Johnson too. I have him at my 4th spot. I think he has such high IQ in zone, and the way he moves in open space, he almost plays safety as a corner. The way he moves his feet and the way that he's out in that boundary, he really takes all the responsibility and wants to take that, and I love the way he operates. Keith Abney, number 3. I'm a big fan of Keith Abney. Had a really good 2024 and built off it in 2025. Really, really good sticky man coverage guy, but can play zone as well. Physical and press, has a really good initial punch and press man, so he gets bigger wide receivers off the timing. Good decision maker, good trail technique. Not the craziest elite speed, but he makes up for it. Jamad McCoy, my number 2. Just because the 2024 tape was absolutely fantastic. It's wild. I think he mirrors wide receivers the best in the class. Unreal when it comes to man coverage. Penalties could be an issue, but what are we getting after missing a year, and how is he going to develop? How's the speed going to go? But his 2024 tape is so good that I'll keep him in the top 3. And then I love Mansour Delane. I loved him over at VTech. Then going over to LSU, he got that opportunity. Unfortunately, LSU crumbled. I know that he was making the right decision going to LSU. Did not expect that to kind of come about. But I mean, 40% reception rate on 35 targets, so it's not like people didn't stir away from throwing it at him. And he locked up people. He's got great length, good athleticism. He's got good instincts, and really, really, I think one of the best technique guys in the class. So he goes to number 1 for me.
There you have it. And Mr. Bill Carroll.
Yes. So with a quick little sidebar, I love Pons and Scott. I don't have them here because I have a separate list for slot, nickel, star, hybrid, whatever. All those guys are on a separate list. So I have a sole separate rankings for those guys. But these are people I think are going to spend the majority of their career playing outside corner. I opened with Dalen Everett. All the things that I heard people say were things that I also put in my scouting report, which you can see on Team MBS Media. He's like a Cadillac, right? A lot of smoothness, but also like you don't want to take a Cadillac like off-road, like go mudding in one. Sometimes the dirty parts of football he doesn't seem to always really embrace fully. And as you said, sometimes he'll take some rather circuitous routes to try to get involved in plays. And I didn't know to attribute that to not trying to get too involved in the stuff that might get unpleasant, or if he just has a bad sense of what angle to take. Whichever one it is, that was the one thing I didn't love. This is a player that last year I said, oh man, this guy's going to be an absolute flag machine. But I watched him this year. He got better. He's still grabby. He's got to work on that. But in terms of looking the part, right? This guy looks like Nnamdi Asomugha, right? He's got the long, he's got long levers. He's got the little waist and the broad shoulders. I mean, he looks like what you think a man corner should look like. And if he could just clean up the grabs, he panics a little bit at the catch point. So Keontae Scott's a guy I really do think ends up playing inside. I really believe that his future is playing nickel or star or whatever it is. Yeah, a position where he kind of moves around as opposed to being an outside corner. And then we have Brandon Cisse, who all the good things you said. I think in terms of raw talent, he's in the top 3 of the people on this list. But that raw also sometimes extends to his footwork and where his eyes are going. He definitely can he will bite. He will take the cheese. He's aggressive. When people say aggressive to a fault, yes, fault is exactly the issue. If you could put Chris Johnson's football brain in Brandon Ceese's football body, corner number one is what would result.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that I didn't hear mentioned was Willie the second and third. Sorry, Willie the third. So there's another player that I had watched a little bit in the past, and I remember at one point thinking, possible safety question mark. Then I watched him this year, and he looks like a guy who's going to probably end up staying corner. He cleaned up once again. I mean, about 4 or 5 of these guys got to clean up the getting grabby part. I know it's college ball and it's coached differently, but he should get his hands on more footballs than he does too. He's another guy that sometimes can be almost a little too passive, but he's a good tackler. He's got a good frame. He's a good enough athlete, not a freak, but a good enough athlete. And this is my guy, right? And some people are even higher on him than I am, but I think this guy, if we said pick one guy you don't have at the very, very top, I guess he's in the middle, who could have all-pro type seasons, this is that guy. He could be a guy that plays at an all-pro level. Super smooth. You talk about guys who can mirror and match. Yes. The game looks easy for him sometimes, right? He looks like he's a glider. I hate guys like that because the game was so hard for me. Right? It's like, God, why is everything so difficult? Not for him. Another guy who I only sort of minor quibbles. I'd like to see him get a little bit stronger. I'd like to see him, get his hands on more footballs. I'd like to see him catch the ball, track the ball better. But other than that, and then we come to Colton Hood. Now, Colton Hood is a player I think will be a number 2 corner, just like he would have been this year. But he comes number 1 because of what happened to McCoy. But he's going to be a really good one. Think of guys like McDougal, like Brady McDougal, or Flowers, right? If you want to go back a little further, back to Brandon Flowers, that kind of guy, right? He's going to be a really solid 8, 9, 10-year pro. Not a superstar, but he can start day one, and I think he'll be a good player. I like a lot of things about Terrell. The scouting report I had on his older brother and the scouting report I have on him, I don't want to be lazy, but boy, I basically adjusted the same scouting report off. Like I was trying to find some ways I could differentiate between the two, but they are really similar players. What should I do to not make this the same scouting report? So I changed a couple of things, so it wasn't exactly the same scouting report, but it's like 93% the same scouting report I wrote up on his brother. But he's going to be a really good football player for a long time in the NFL. He's going to start right out of the box too. And this is another asterisk situation with McCoy. We're all kind of hoping he's the guy that he was, but if you're an offensive guard, right, you can kind of assume that unless, you've got spinal stenosis or something, you should go back to being the guy you were. The problem is that corners are such finely tuned racehorse type athletes. Mm-hmm. I mean, everyone remember what took out Deion Sanders, right? What ended his career?
Yep.
Turf toe, right? Turf toe.
Trayvon Diggs has had 2 knee surgeries.
Right, right.
And of course, he's a much newer than Deion ever was in the league.
Correct. So. That's the one concern I have is that because corner asks you, I mean, you're constantly having to do explosive movements. You're constantly, you're it's the old thing about Ginger Rogers, right? Where people are like applauding Fred Astaire, and a woman says, "Why are they so excited about Fred Astaire? Ginger's doing everything he's doing, and she's doing it backwards in heels."
Yeah.
And while they don't wear heels, corners have to do everything that wide receivers do backwards, without knowing where we're going, and have to stay with the Tyreek Hills and the Justin Jeffersons and the Amon-Ra St. Browns. It's an incredibly difficult position to play. And even when you're a little less than what you were, it can change the way you play. We're all kind of, please come back. And then I have Monster Delane number 1 for a lot of the reasons that people have already mentioned. But my main thing is of all the guys I study, he has fewer missed tackles in the open field than anybody else. I'm still a person that loves tackling. I know it's sort of passe to expect corners to tackle. I know, it's no longer, I guess, the big deal it once was. But I still love me the Aqib Talibs of the world. I still love
which it still drives me insane why everybody has Deion Sanders up so high on their list, because the guy didn't like to tackle anybody, and it drove me off the deep end. You remember the article I wrote about?
I do.
When he was attacked, right?
Deion's my number 4 corner all time, and I know people don't like it, but I got to put guys like Lynn Barney ahead of him. I have to put guys like Rod Woodson ahead of him. I have to put guys like Champ Bailey ahead of him. And I know nobody here remembers or has ever seen Night Train Lane, but my God, what a beast he was. Now, he'd be a safety nowadays.
He'd be a safety, but yes, he was a corner back in the old days. And I've seen
he was an absolute killer. Now, he's the reason, in case you're wondering, speaking of guys who changed the game, why you aren't allowed to grab people by the face mask anymore, because that was his preferred way of tackling. And he was a corner at 6'1" and 5'8" and 223 pounds. And he could run he was hand timed in the high 4.4s, low 4.5s. So, like I said, he'd be an absolute monster safety nowadays.
Could you imagine what he would be running today, though? I mean,
now, once again, guys just showed up, and this is before he went 8 specially or slimmed down or did anything. He literally showed up. So this is a true story. He had worked a swing shift at an aircraft plant. And when he gets off work, he gets a friend to drive him to an open tryout for the Rams. And he ends up being one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time. So his preparation was working a swing shift at an aircraft plant. That's when you know you're something special.
Mm-hmm. And again, for you younger people, these guys who played in the old days were still very good athletes. Okay,
I'd like to see one of these dudes work a full shift at an aircraft plant. They work out of the combine.
I'd like to see most corners and or safeties in the NFL try to cover Bullet Bob Hayes. I'd love to see you, because Bullet Bob Hayes was going out there twice a day. And he's the reason why the zone defense is such a big thing in the NFL. He is the reason why the zone defense increased.
Another player that changed football forever. Yes, we talked about a couple of those. He's one of those guys.
And again, the combine numbers that we've seen, could you imagine what Bullet Bob Hayes was going to do in 1960?
So to put it in perspective, this is not some friendly coach hand timer. This is now, it's obviously from a standing sort of leaning start because it's a relay race, but he ran the anchor leg in the 4x100, right, in the 60 Olympics, and he ran it in 8.6 seconds.
Yep.
So just so that you get an idea of what we're talking about, and the craziest thing is he didn't practice. He was a football player. He was at Florida A&M on a football scholarship. They knew how fast he was. He would just show up and run races, Randall. I'm not joking.
And he won the gold.
That's an issue with how sports and athletes have evolved, is that it's a one sport and nothing but it. You stick to that, and you don't step out of your safe space, and that's a travesty. People like Tyreek Hill, polarizing player. Nobody, when he makes $100 million, no owner is going to be like, you're not running that, because if something happens, I'm out of money. And that's a travesty.
Yeah. But again, this is the type of thing that has changed in the world of sports, right? Now, there's plenty of other good corners in this draft.
It's a really deep group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, Keith Abney is a guy that I couldn't find room for, but I love Keith Abney, and I'm going to put him on my Nichols slot defender hybrid, wataever, right? He's going to be on that list because I think he also might find his living playing, covering slot.
Same with him and Chandler Rivers are kind of that mold. He's just a DB. It's just
Right.
DB. That's it.
Well put. Right. And that's another guy. I love Chandler Riggs.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, he can do whatever. He can do
Yeah.
whatever.
And
Yep.
we are going into an era where, because of the way that these defenses are being run, where you have to be able to be multifaceted. Bottom line,
Yep.
on defense especially,
Yep.
you have to be
Yep.
absolutely multifaceted. And
And it's happening.
we're
And
going
that's
to
what's
see
intriguing.
Yep.
This draft
We're gonna see a lot more
elevates
DBs.
defenses.
Keontae Scott is a DB as far as I'm concerned as well.
I think he's a
Right.
nickel.
He's not a true corner. He's not a
Right.
safety.
Yep.
But he is a defensive
Look at that.
backfield player who can absolutely hammer players.
Oh,
But again,
If
and
you
we're
give
starting
me
to see
Spot-
that we're
if you give me Pons and Scott, I'll just figure out what to do with it.
yeah.
Just dogs that play above their weight.
Well, Keontae Scott. I mean, if you watch this guy this year, the hits that he put on receivers and running back, man.
And he is a fantastic blitzer.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
he reminds me of Darren Woodson.
if Darren
Darren-
Woodson was 190, what is he? 100,
Yeah.
What is he? 189, whatever he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's who he reminds me of.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because he
God, I
will
love
go,
it. God, do I want him in Pittsburgh? Oh,
Yeah. But
I've got a
again,
question with the corners from you guys.
Yep.
Where do you place Devin Moore? Talent is top 75 for me. Just the injuries are what is killer, and I want him to be a good NFL player because his talent is there.
well, his talent is there, but again, he's already got the injury bug.
yeah.
I know.
Injury prone. I try to be careful with using that term, but I can't not use it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's unavoidable. Like you would. If a guy gets hurt once, it happens. Football. Guy gets hurt twice. I'm like, still football. It's when you get to, never finish the season without getting hurt. Now I can't not address it, right? I can't not. It has to affect the way I rate you. It has to affect the way I see you as a player. He might last until the fourth round. Now, probably won't, but he could, right?
Yeah.
And of course, every team, we talked about this, every team addresses these things differently. One team doctor can say, no big deal. And other people would be like, nope, off your board, right?
Right.
And with looking at the same guy, with the same series of tests, risk assessment is very different from team to team. And of course, Drew Brees is the legendary example of that. The Dolphins team doctor was like, never in a million years. I'm not signing off on that. I was like, I've seen that interview before in car accidents. I mean, that was his actual quote.
Yeah.
I've seen that interview before
Yeah.
in car accidents. And he's like, I'm not, nope. So would I take a flyer on Devin Moore in the third round compensatories? Maybe, yeah. I probably wouldn't touch him in the normal third round, but if I had a compensatory pick or whatever, an extra pick in the third, yeah, I could see doing that. Or, like I said, early fourth. And could he turn out to be one of the steals of the draft? He sure as that could. Or he could end up being a guy that never puts together 5 or 6 healthy games.
And Randall, you do not pick him at 112 for the Cowboys in that mock draft.
I already know what position I'm going with. Don't you worry.
You already gave me McCoy, who's already got the ACL thing, just like Ravel had last year. So again, that's enough, okay?
All right. Well, listen. First of all, I am picking for the Cowboys. You are not, Greg. Second of all, I did your bidding by avoiding all offensive line in the first 2 picks in the first round.
You did.
So I'm clear.
Like Bill
I'm
Carroll,
clear for the day.
like, holy moly, no! You guys want me to get destroyed online by this? No.
Jermar McCoy is going to be healthy. He's going to be at training camp. He's going to play. So that was and Mansour Delane got picked right about it. I was literally sitting there for Mansour Delane at your pick, and then it got picked Dolphins.
Right. Right.
11 or 12. So, which makes sense for the Dolphins.
Makes perfect sense. Oh my God. Of course,
Yeah,
you don't
no kidding.
literally use anything.
But
yeah,
that actually happened just before the actual trade that happened with the Dolphins and the Broncos. So now there could be the opportunity for them to go wide receiver at 11 and then fall down to 30 for their secondary guy. We'll see what happens with the Dolphins, but again, this is going to be a very, very wild draft because we got 5 teams with 2 picks in the first round.
Yep. For sure.
You know,
I have another question on corners because I feel like I'm unreasonably high on this guy, and I'd like both of your opinions. Jaden Kennedy, Oregon.
You're not unreasonably high.
no.
Okay, good.
Tell me
Because
what defense you want to play, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to play like a match zone or like a catch man, bump and bail? Love. Do you want to play true press man? I do not love it.
Yeah,
No.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I get that for sure. Yeah, in his scheme specific, I think like he held his own against some good wide receivers, notably Mekhi Lemon.
Yes. And Mekhi Lemon mentioned him by name when he was asked about some of the tough. My only issue, like I said, is so what I ended up doing, and if you please read my article, if you haven't, but I said that when the tiebreakers were almost always diverse scheme agnostic, right? Guys who could play in multiple schemes got pushed up my board, my rankings, and guys that had to be in a specific scheme got pushed down. But once again, NFL teams don't care about what this guy can do in somebody else's scheme, right? This guy's perfect for what we do. He's going to go up. And this guy who might be good at 3 different things, but not as good as that one specific thing, will go down. So,
but again,
I remind my draft Twitter friends too.
If you are Vic Fangio, you're going to like a guy like Kennedy.
Right.
Love it.
You're going to love him.
Yeah.
So, Christian Parker just came to the Cowboys from that same system. It's another guy who is going to fit because he can do those multiple things outside of being a press man corner. Yes, he can handle being a press man corner, but not every down. There's no way that he's going to do that every down. But again, he needs to be taught how to be a press man corner more. Right? Because in college he was not asked to do it that much. And again, this is where the actual coaching comes into play.
Yep.
It really does come into play.
Yep.
So, and I think Traylon Stukes could actually become a better press man corner.
He could be a lot of different things. I could see him playing safety or that third safety role in teams that like big nickel. I could see him playing a lot in the slot. I could see him, walking down in certain situations and playing close to. He's got real toughness. Like he's got a mean streak for a corner. That is something that I like. Yes.
I like that.
Yes. I know there's teams that will consider making him a safety because of that.
Yeah.
He's on my slot nickel, spur hybrid. So after I finish my running back rankings, which I need someone to tell me to stop. I think I'm on my 11th revision. I have a sickness, but as soon as I'm done with my running backs, which I will post soon, I promise. Then that's next. My not fully safeties, not fully corners, everything that's a little bit of everything. And that's coming out next. There's so many of those guys and they're really good. And I felt bad about not being able to get them on my corner rankings and them not quite really being safeties either. But the good news is that the NFL is now headed towards those kinds of players.
Right.
It's funny at the Senior Bowl. I got a chance to talk to Corey Chavis, who runs a site called Draft Nasty now, but it was a 10-year NFL pro out of Vanderbilt, and he played about almost literally half of his career at each position. About half his career as a safety, about half his career as a corner. And I asked him about that. He said, "Man, I would have made so much money today." And I say, "You're right. you're so right. You would have made so much more money today, Corey." Partially because there's money to be made, but also like the kind of player he is, he would be on the field all the time for somebody nowadays because of all the different things that Corey could do at a high level. And of course, a super smart guy as a player.
Yeah.
All right.
Love Traydon Stukes. I always watched. He always gravitated when I was watching Genesis Smith. Stukes always end up getting on there. And me
Same
watching
here.
Stukes over him all the time.
Same here.
Yep. 4 interceptions, 6
But-
PBUs,
but-
and an incredible one was unreal.
Genesis Smith makes life easier for Mr. Stukes, though, because I mean, his
best range in the game. Best range in the game. Yeah.
The best range of any safety out there is Genesis
Yep.
Smith. I don't care what anybody says. He has got the best range.
He does.
Period.
Another
So
player I
everybody-
lust after for Pittsburgh, but yes.
Same with
Yeah.
Buffalo. Right next to Cole Bishop. So then Cole Bishop can be his crazy white man self.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually a really good safety tandem if you had both of them. Yeah.
I know. He just needs to learn how to tackle, which is fine. Honestly, if I'm having the best free range center fielder, the last thing I want to be like, we'll take care of tackling. You just, do your thing.
Well, that's an argument that Bill and I get. No. He's not,
I know.
he
I think
doesn't.
it's a 23% missed tackle rate, and it
Yeah.
shows
I don't
every
love
game.
that. Yeah.
Every
That-
game. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's horrible. That is horrible.
Yeah, he
right?
tackles at the shoulders.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is a mistake. I mean, that's
Right.
And
that's
I
something
think
that
some of that is maybe, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to assume he's been poorly coached, and he has teammates who tackle correctly. So no, I can't attribute to coaching. I wonder if he had a bad experience. It's like you know what I mean? Like
Right.
there's something that makes you
A
wonder.
concussion.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe
Yeah.
he had a concussion. He tackles like a guy who doesn't want to get a
Right.
concussion. That's exactly how
Right.
he tackles.
It really does. Yeah, you're right. He acknowledged it at the combine. He was like, I know I'm a poor tackler. I'm working on that sort of thing.
okay.
So it's out there.
So let's go to the Missouri Tigers cornerback room and the very, very, very fast Toriano Pride.
Yes. Such a great athlete.
Yeah. Now, this guy has a lot to learn, though, about being a defensive player.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's
So-
going to make a lot of money on special teams, though.
That's what I was about
Yeah.
to say. That's where he's going to make his money is on special teams because as a he's not very good as a defender right now.
Nope.
If somebody spends time coaching him up, blah blah blah, he could end up being like a Chris Godwin, who is now 33 years old and is still a special teamer for the Cowboys. He could end up in that role.
Yeah. 100%.
But there's
Yeah,
a lot of very.
You just got to watch a lot of tape. I feel like he does use his athleticism too much, and just route recognition is kind of killer for him. Just gets burned at the stem.
Yeah. But
I get the
there's
feeling-
a ton of very good corners this year.
So we talk about guess hitters in baseball, right?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
And if you're really good at it, you can still have a good career, but he's not, right? He's like a Pin Incaviglia version of guess hitting, where it's like, oh, I was sure that was going to be a, right? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he takes some big swings and he almost always misses when he does. I mean, if you coach the living daylights out of him, you'll get, a fourth corner. You know what I mean? Like if you really coach him well. But as Greg pointed out, and I mean his living, the thing that'll keep him in the league is special teams.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to give the Stephen F. Austin corner, Charles Deming, some love here because this guy is an outside man press corner.
Yep.
He does
I think he gets
does
drafted.
not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he definitely gets drafted. Charles Deming, there's no way in heck that he does not get drafted.
Got a great size
again-
too. Good arm length, good
Yep.
hand size, rangy on the outside. I agree.
Athletic. Yep. All that.
Yep. But again,
Zeke,
these are names that a lot of people don't know because of the schools that they attend and the guys from Toledo this year, Andre Fuller. They don't get the attention because they're not playing at these big schools. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Blah blah blah. Right.
Guess what? Here at Draft Central, we watch everybody.
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
so
Cal's got another cornerback, but DB coming out. I like
Yes!
Ezekiel Masses. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
He's a dog.
Yes.
He is an absolute dog. I'm a big fan of him.
Oh,
I'm
my
hoping
God.
Buffalo scouted Cal a lot last year, and I'm hoping because we didn't draft a Cal guy last year that it was because they were watching a year earlier on Ezekiel Masses.
So here's the things I love about Hezekiah Masses. All the classic Cal DB stuff, really, really smart, takes great angles, but he tracks the ball better than about 60% of the guys in the wide receiver class this year.
Yeah.
He has fantastic ball tracking.
Mm-hmm.
Guys can pass in front of him, hands, whatever, all that stuff that normally results in a DB not being able to bring a ball in doesn't bother him a bit. You can, set off fireworks. You could have, Zendaya appear, in a bikini. Like none of that matters. He's going to catch the ball. I don't know if anyone's figured out his catchable ball, whatever rate is, but I bet it's inclusive of wide receivers. I bet it's in the top 30 of guys in this draft. He is really, really good at tracking and catching football. He's going to get interceptions in the NFL or wherever you play him. He's going to get the ball.
I agree. I feel like he asks wide receivers to take the in route because he could jab and go. He can close real fast. So he'll give you that inside leverage, and he's like, if you want to take it, go. And then he'll just go for it. I love him.
Such a good
So
player.
there's another guy there's another guy that nobody has talked about at all, who is just 20 years old. He's already a senior. The guy plays at Notre Dame, Christian Gray.
Yeah,
and
we're all aware of Christian Gray.
Yeah, but nobody's talking about this guy.
I know some people. I know people who have him have a late first or early second ground grade on him. Now, I don't know if he goes that early, but there are some people who like him like that.
Yeah, but again, the guy's only 20. He's like,
Yeah, I agree. I think he's got a lot of room to grow, and he has a high IQ, and you can tell it's just sometimes he just has bad days. Like 2024 USC. Yeah, it's just
but he only had
just awful.
His one bad game was in the national championship game, and that's why the Buckeyes beat the Fighting Irish. That is the only reason the Buckeyes beat the Fighting Irish was because Christian Gray had a bad. Well, no, he had a bad step. It was a bad step, and that was all it was. And boy, the receiver was gone.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But again, next year's corner class will also have the number one corner in the land, Leonard Moore of the Fighting Irish. I don't care. You could give me any other cornerback next year that you want to discuss. I don't care. Leonard Moore is going to be the best corner coming out of that class next year. Period.
All right. Well, then it's already decided.
Yeah.
It's decided.
Clip this, and we will save it. Yeah.
No, you're not going to convince me that any other corner next year is going to touch Leonard Moore. But there's just nobody. Nobody.
He's got good tape. I tend to agree right now.
Yeah.
And he stonewalled Mekhi Lemon. That was a battle that Leonard Moore dominated.
Absolutely. And again, next year's class is a much different group than this year. Next year's class is going to be the classic NFL draft because we're going to have all these quarterbacks and all that other fun sort of stuff. The wide receivers who are coming out. There's good left tackles next year too, and all that other fun sort of stuff. But again, so the positional prime guys will all be much happier next year.
Yes, right. Yeah, much.
But I just love how this class will bolster up all the defenses. The way defenses are evolving in pre-snap and post-snap, there's so many unique scheme-fitting guys in this class that's really going to make offenses have to work a lot harder. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's our corner group, guys.
Yes, it is. I'm going to mention really quickly. You mentioned Ephesians Pricelock, which of course is a member of the all-name team. His partner, Takario Davis, is darn near 6'3", like a fraction of an inch away from 6'3". I think he's going to. Scheme matters a little bit with him, but I could see him being a guy that plays, because guys who are long and strong, even if they lose a little bit of pure speed, can sometimes sort of essentially, use that strength and length, sort of Richard Sherman style. Obviously, scheme matters, but I could see him being a corner in the league for a very, 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 very long time. Now, if you've watched his backpedal, this is not how you would teach your child to.
No,
It
you
is.
do not. You do not do that. No.
That's my one sort of issue is he's a much better athlete than he looks like, because once again, I know they have good coaching. I don't know what's up with his backpedal. Like, if somebody's got to fix that. Yeah. But everything else, if you play a scheme where you don't really ask guys to backpedal, maybe use that shuffle or that's open and slide or that. Yeah. Then you don't have to look at that horrible backpedal, I guess. Yeah. And then you feel much better about him as a prospect.
Yeah.
But
the Huskies corners got a whole lot bigger than Kyler Gordon and Trent McDuffie were.
Yep.
Mr. Prysock is 6'4".
Yeah.
And his partner is just what, 6'3"?
6'2". He came in at 6'2 3/4", but they're both giants.
Yeah, they're both huge, right?
Yeah.
Prysock was somebody I was high on last year, but
same.
Yeah, this year he's again. This goes to a team thing though, because the Huskies as a team did not do very much defensively either.
I feel like the cornerback in this class that lost most of his stock for staying is Domani Jackson.
Oh,
yep.
Oh.
If you go back,
October, November, I was like perfect flyer for Buffalo, and now it's very questionable. Especially, and I know that I don't take the combine for mainly 99% of it, but I really thought he would run in the 4.3s to give him his speed, and 4.41 was a little rough in my opinion.
I mean, 4.41's fly.
Still fast, but he's not
technical.
Like he doesn't have the tape to kind of like at least make up for it. Exactly.
Right. I'm with you.
Yeah.
The guy that I won't be able to sleep at night if I don't get a chance to mention is Joshua Moten. Had a terrific career before he transferred. I was in love with him when he was at Marshall, but he follows his coach, Charles Huff, from Marshall to Southern Miss. And he's not the biggest cat in the world. I get it. He's another guy who may end up being kicked inside. But in 2024, his tape is inordinately fantastic. 6 pass breakups, 5 interceptions, tremendous ball skills, a good enough tackler. I mean, he's not blowing people up. He's not Keontae Scott or D'Angelo Pounds or whatever. But, he's not the worst tackler on this list by a long stretch. He can stay in phase with receivers. He's got good loose hips. He's got feet. Don't know exactly what his time speed is. But as you illustrated, he's one ahead of Domani Jackson on my ranking. So that gives you an idea of what happened to Domani Jackson. Domani Jackson was, I think, in my top 6 preseason, and he just barely held on to being in the top 20 before it was all said and done.
Man, same here. Got him at 21.
I have 2 more small school corners. If you
go ahead, Phil.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Jeremiah McClendon, Southern Illinois, Saluki, had a really, really good season, and fantastic tackler. 59 tackles total, 14 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and why he's a legitimate pro prospect? Well, I mean, the production's off the scale, but I think he's going to test well. Now, I don't think they've had their pro day yet. So it'll be interesting. It'll be very important how he tests. But he's a guy who, I've seen him beat like cut blocks, right? I mean, most corners don't play well off of blocks, partially because they don't work on it a lot, right? But I've seen he comes down in the run game, guys like who cut blocks a corner? But like I thought that these big guys live to just blast corners, but I don't know, whatever. The point is I've seen him deal with blockers, whether they come up high or go down low. He plays off of blocks better than almost everybody I've seen in this draft class. And he makes you earn it, right? He doesn't ever concede anything. It's not over till it's over. He'll sometimes save it at the very, very end. When he does get beat, he doesn't stay beaten. Never say die, all that good stuff. And then the last guy I'll mention, well, the last two guys, I'll slip two more in. The last guys I'll mention are Aaron Harris from NCAA. He was my favorite, who's draft eligible, my favorite draft eligible HBCU corner. 42 tackles, 13 pass breakups, sticky, good enough ball skills, not the world's best tackler, and a little stiffer. He's fast in a straight line, but not super, bendy, or doesn't change direction quite like for a smaller guy. But he's going to be a special teamer, I think. But I could see him in certain packages getting on the field and maybe improving, maybe impressing, and getting a chance to play more and more actual DB. And then finally, I'm going to mention Ayinde Johnson.
Well, I just want to say before you get to your final guy, there's another special teamer off the hop.
Yeah.
He is a special teamer off the hop.
Yep, 100%. Finally, last but not least, Ayinde Johnson. Once again, he's going to get dinged because he, level competition, blah, blah, blah. But really good feet. Does not grab. I remember saying that, like, oh, yeah. He knows how to be there, like right there. He'll occasionally, get that little, like, I'm close enough to you that no one can see this thing, where he kind of like gets a little bit of this, but he doesn't do this, right? None of this, none of that. Yeah. It's always, I don't know if you can see, it's always this, like close.
Right.
Like if you're right there with a guy and you get towards his back hip, that never gets called.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So even when he grabs a little bit, he grabs like a pro, right? None of that amateurish stuff. I could see him working his way up to at least somebody's second corner by his second, third year in the league. And you mentioned your guy, Christian Benford. I could see him having a similar kind of NFL career.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, and Greg, somebody that met with the Cowboys and Buffalo Bills, that probably is like maybe a dime package special teamer and then maybe a safety, but DB was Toledo's Andre Fuller.
Yeah. Andre Fuller.
Because he's getting looks. Yep.
I mentioned him earlier.
He's a little grabby. Oh, you did? I'm sorry. I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
But we agree. We had the same assessment of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely right. Mr. Patton here is around tonight. The top corner in the draft is Jermon McCoy. Yeah, but again, nobody's seen him play since 2024, and we do not know how his ACL actually turns out. We do not know this. That's the scary piece about Jermon McCoy.
Right.
Yeah.
And until March 31st, when he gets out in the field for the Tennessee Pro Day, then people will be able to say, okay, McCoy can actually be because Jerry has said there's going to be no red shirts being drafted by Dallas this year, which Siobhan Revell was a red shirt last year, right?
Right.
And that's something that many teams are looking at. They don't want to have a red shirt guy, especially a first round guy.
Right. And it hurts him a little bit that a year and 2.5 months after the injury, he said he's not 100
months,
not 100, not 100%. Like people don't love that. They don't love that.
Right.
And wait a second, hold on. What? You're still 100%? Oh boy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. We'll see what happens on the 31st of March.
Yes, that is. I mean, the most important day of his young life, probably.
Oh, there you go.
He is 100%.
March 31st it is.
Yeah, as of now. I'm saying at the combine, he said he was. Out of his own mouth.
Right.
He said he was not.
Right,
exactly. Which is what had people in the panic. Was the
right. Not far long ago.
Yeah, But again, he'll be out there for his pro day. 32 scouts will be there. They will have every team will have a scout out there. Because Colton Hood as well, and
a
couple of other volunteers who are in the draft. But everybody wants to see McCoy actually
Yes.
on the field. That's what they want.
100%. 100%. I guess my last thing, since Bill, I think that you would probably be the most likely to run into Will Lee, and he's in your top 10. When watching, I like him. He's my 13th, right behind Trey Downs too. So I'm a big fan of Will Lee. I think if he gets into that 5th round, I want Buffalo to take a flyer, but I don't think he will. His nickname is the Blanket.
Yep.
Will you tell him not to do the seatbelt celebration and just make your own blanket celebration? I keep watching him, and anytime he gets a sick PBU, he'll do the seatbelt, and then I'm like, buddy, like you sent 2024, he sent a blanket. I can't remember. I believe it was an Oklahoma State wide receiver that he sent him a blanket before the game.
Yes.
I'm like, buddy, integrate it into your celebration.
Yeah, just kind of wrap yourself up in it.
Wrap yourself. Yeah, you wrap them up.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again,
hopefully he sees this.
Our list showed the differences tonight.
Yes.
Right. That's the key thing here. You know, I put Avion Terrell as my number 1 corner. Being a Cowboys fan, would Avion Terrell have been drafted by anybody in the Cowboys late who have been running the draft lately? Not a chance, because he's considered too small. But guess what? If he was there at pick 20, I'm taking Terrell.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
And again, that's only because we didn't see McCoy play in 2025. That's
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think we all have roughly the same level of love for McCoy, but it's so hard when a guy misses. I mean, it's one thing if a guy tears his ACL and 5 months later he's jogging, month 7 he's sprinting, and then month 8 he says he's 100%. You're like, oh, okay, cool. It's another thing when more than a year passes, the guy says I'm still not 100%. You're like,
yeah. Colton Hood just missed my top 10. Because I just love the way that Stooks does what he does as well. But Colton Hood, if you recall, my other guy, he would have been my other guy for this year had McCoy been out there. Obviously, Colton Hood would have been my other guy.
And last thing for McCoy, wasn't McCoy almost like questionable against Arkansas? Like he was ramping up throughout the year and then got shut down. So I don't know if there was anything disclosed on that, but I do remember him beginning to practice. And I know Arkansas and Tennessee was early in the year. So I felt like it was week 4 or 5 that he was almost ready to go and then got shut down. So I'm curious about that as well.
That feels to me like either, while he was ramping up, they spotted something. I was like, oh.
Right.
Or a tweak. Right, during practice or something like it's one of those two things. When they downgrade a guy,
or he did not want to be out in the field wearing a brace.
Possibility, yeah.
And some guys are like that. They just don't want to have anybody, seeing them wearing a brace and things like that. That's it's a hard part.
Yeah.
So, but again. Next week, we're going to have our top 10 wide receivers, gentlemen.
Yes.
Let's go. Yes. This will be a high variance.
Yes. Yes, there will.
Yeah.
That's a super fun group.
Yeah.
Super fun group.
But next year's wide receiver group is a whole lot better than this one. But okay. Yeah. But
I already got a guy for next year. Like a late guy, not Jeremiah Smith, of course.
Yeah.
I love Griffin Wild. I'm a big fan of him.
Oh,
Wild is awesome.
Yes.
He's
OU Northwestern, but yes.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes.
Yep. But again, it'll be interesting to see our list next week. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for our top 10 corners this week. Everybody like and subscribe to our channel. That's how us small guys survive. And everybody take care.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.